Here we are. So this is the 30th annual awards. We would have hit 30 years last year. The city celebrated 30 years of their sustainable city plan last year, but we skipped a year of SQA because of COVID. So we're a little behind. So we had to cancel one of the awards events, but this is 30 years of doing this. And I've been doing this for a lot of those 30 years. I won't say how many, almost those 30 years. Okay, there we go. This is what I'm covering today. And I do talk fast and I'm very excited about this award. So you will see the excitement in my voice, but I will try to not go so quickly. Please shout out any questions. We're a really small group. If you have to hop off, hop off. This is, very, very informal. So I'm going to cover the history of the awards, some of the winner benefits, what you get to winning this award. The awards event, please mark your calendars. I may send you a calendar invite, is April 29th. Even if you don't win an award, we'd love for you to come and celebrate. It's a free event for everybody. It's at the Annenberg Beach House. It's one of the city's sustainability department's signature events for the year. It's a wonderful event. Eligibility. So what you need to make sure that you're eligible to apply. Just very simple, being in compliance, a few things. The application, we're going to review it, the categories, the criteria. We're going to look at some past winner application highlights to demonstrate what it takes to submit a winning application, what judges are looking for, resources, mentors, and then important dates. Okay, so the history of this award. So this award was developed in 1995, the same year the city launched their sustainable city plan. I wasn't around back then, but this award program, it's a way to recognize businesses that are contributing to the goals of Santa Monica's Sustainable City Plan. It is one of the oldest and most rigorous sustainable business awards in Southern California. When I started doing this in 2001, I would say, this is Susie calling from Sustainable Works, and I had to spell the word sustainable. Calling from where? Sustainable Works. Sustainable. So I was defining the word when I started doing my job back then. So people didn't know the word sustainable back then, and definitely not sustainability awards. So it really is, as far as I know, one of the first sustainable business award programs that were introduced in Southern California anyway. Since then, we've recognized 178 businesses with over 230 awards. And that's because several businesses have applied over and over again. We do ask that you wait a 5-year period to apply again. However, once those 5 years are up, you can apply and get recognized as many times as you like. And so quite a few businesses are on the list. This is from last year, and it's a really lovely event at the Annenberg. Okay, so the winner benefits. Why do this? This award is a great way to get recognized. Most of you, I think all of you on this call have achieved a green business certification. That gets you some recognition. Some of you may have received commendations from the city. This is really a way to get yourself promoted citywide. City council members, it's a bit more of a bigger deal. There's a bit more press associated because this award has been around for so long. So along with all that, you do receive graphics and promotional materials. You're going to be receiving commendation certificates from the city and senators. Here's some examples here. Of course, listed on the SQA winners directory, and the website is down here. The website you'll be using to apply and all of that is at the bottom of the screen here, the smsqa.com. Local press, social media, newsletter spotlights. The Office of Sustainability at the city, they release a monthly newsletter. If you don't get it, let me know already. It's a kind of tricky way to sign up for it, but if you don't get it, please do. You get it one monthly email letting you know of all of the events happening, sustainability related events happening citywide for that month. And you will be highlighted in that newsletter. Okay, and it's just a great way to distinguish your company from others. Okay, so I mentioned the event day already. I'm going to mention it again. So it's Wednesday, this year it's going to be Wednesday, April 29th, 4 to 7 p.m. Winners, city council attends, a lot of city staff people, a lot of key stakeholders and sustainability stakeholders in the city, usually over 100 attendees. And there's networking, there's refreshments. The event is catered by Back on the Beach Cafe. They're multi-winners. And so it's just, again, just a lovely event. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about it. Here we are. Okay, and the mayor attends and speaks. And there's the room. So eligibility. Most of you, I believe, are eligible. The things I can't check are, I know all of you have been in operation for 2 years. I've checked that. You do have to be located in Santa Monica, check. You have to have a current business license. The city, it doesn't always do a great job at sending reminders. So usually you have to renew your business license annually. So just if you're not sure, just double check that you have a current business license. If not, you will be notified soon. All applicants are checked for compliance by the city. So just a little note about that. Typically employing minimum 2 full-time equivalent employees, and that can mean you employ yourself. And if you employ 2 part-time employees or 3, that's 2 full-time equivalent. And then again, just be in compliance with all the local, state, federal regulations. We don't check state and federal, but we check local. But just, be in compliance. And then another big one is to be in compliance with Santa Monica's Transportation Demand Management Ordinance. This applies to businesses with 30 employees or more, is where you have to submit some stuff. And I'm going to go over that right now. You know what? It used to be 50. I apologize, but they now changed it to 30, and that's in the slides that are coming. So why is this ordinance important? It's important because transportation is the largest source of GHG emissions in Santa Monica. Here is a chart, but vehicle transportation is what slams us in this city. So this ordinance is to ensure and provide incentives for your staff to get to work without driving a car alone. Carpool, using the bus, walking. So if I think this may apply to some of you, if you're not doing this already, the department will hold your hand through it. Basically, it's certifying an employee transportation coordinator to make sure they're communicating all the incentives to your employees, survey your employees, how they get to work, and create a plan to reduce your employee emissions related to commuting to work. Here is the slide that kind of explains everything. So it's your one-stop shop for transportation resources. Again, required for employers with 30 or more employees, and all this stuff here. I think there is a little fee. There is a little fee that businesses need to pay in order to comply, but I think it's fairly nominal. Okay, if you want to know, even if you have less than 30 employees and you're interested in the incentives, you want promotional materials, this is a free service. Go ahead and outreach to the team anyway. Here's their contact information, and it doesn't hurt just to reach out if you're interested. I know there's a Rafa bike shop here. I know that I'm sure your employees already bike to work, but it is worth reaching out to them to get more information and assistance. Okay, that's eligibility. All right, now we're going to move on to the application and criteria. So the application is in it's sort of 3 different applications. Economic development, social responsibility, stewardship of the environment. You can apply just in one of these. I'm going to call them categories. 1 category, 2 categories, or all 3. Of course, applying for all 3, it's going to be a little more writing, but businesses that apply in all 3 categories and score excellence in all 3 categories win the grand prize. And they just get a little more attention as a grand prize winner, excelling in all these areas. These 3 categories are also known as the triple bottom line. You may have heard of triple bottom line. What is that? That's the triple E's. It's economy, equity, environment. And so these are the areas, for businesses to excel in all these areas, for a city to excel in all these areas, a city has to, take care of their economy, take care of their people, take care of their environment. These are really the pillars also of Santa Monica's Sustainable City Plan. And it's what keeps our city healthy if you pay attention to these 3 areas and your business. So economic development, this category, really, it's about committing to the long-term sustainability of your business. How do you stay in business? If you've been in business for a long time, 20 plus years, 30 plus years, you're doing something right. So the city, we want to know what you're doing right. How are you still in business? And how are you still thriving and succeeding? So how are you sustaining your operations, your business? And then how are you also supporting other businesses and your city's economy? Are you partnering with businesses? And I'm going to go more into all these details, but this is the economy, looking at your own business and then other businesses, and how are you, and then when it comes to, we did add in resilience and recovery strategies, because we've suffered quite a few disasters in the last couple of years between COVID and the fires. Do you have any strategies in place? Are they in writing? We want to see them. We want the policies, upload documentation. So that's what this section is about. If you're also a member of Buy Local Santa Monica, if you participated in the Most Loved Business Award, that's administered by Buy Local Santa Monica. That means you're already, you should already mention that in your application, because you're already supporting Buy Local Santa Monica. It's all about supporting local businesses and educating residents to shop at their local businesses, to support, the money of their own and the taxes in their own city. So this section, it's all questions have checkbox answers mostly. You're asked a question, check off all the things that apply to you. And then there's a box for written answers. You do want to, as much as you can, write detail into that box. Don't just check off the boxes and move on to the next question. The judges do want to see some writing to support, to support your answers, and uploading documentation. Pictures go a long way. So, okay. Social responsibility. This is also equity. So this is about committing to human resources. How do you take care of your staff, your employees, and how do you take care of members of the community that are underrepresented? Do you take care, do you have, do you take care of students? Do you have internship programs, fellowship programs? Do you hire students temporarily? Do you support diversity, equity, and inclusion? That's a recent thing that a lot of businesses did. So this is all about people. It's not just mentioning, yes, we offer benefits, and we offer, sick pay and medical benefits. That's sort of standard for most business sectors. Judges here want to know, how are you excelling in social responsibility? What are you doing beyond medical benefits? Do you offer yoga? Do you offer, just tuition reimbursement? The above and beyond things is what they want to see. So again, 11 questions, checkbox answers, and written answers, spaces for that, and then always uploading documentation. Stewardship of the environment. I think most of you here are already green certified, so you probably have this. But again, judges, you do have to kind of repeat all that you did to get green certified. This is really about committing to sustaining the natural environment, conserving resources. Not just that, so that's, they do want to hear how you've reduced water and energy and all that, but what are you doing that's above and beyond? This award is about really going above and beyond and showing innovation and commitment. So how are you encouraging biodiversity? Did you break up some concrete, or in your projects, do you break up concrete and install plants and trees, to bring in more birds? How are you doing that? Did you renovate recently and allow in more natural light, or plant more plants? So encouraging biodiversity. And also it's about, again, the community support. Are you supporting particularly environmental organizations in any way, through charities, partnering with events, this kind of thing, just going beyond resource conservation, but going beyond it to support community organizations, donations, things like that. 13 questions here, check boxes, etc. Okay, that's the overview of the application. So you choose what areas you want to apply. You can check out all 3 of them, and then you can delete one. But I do recommend that you do check out all 3 and try to find the area you want to apply in. It might be two, it might be all three. So you are going to visit the smsqa.com application. The good thing is I believe the application submits, it saves as you go. You may need to hit the save button now and again. It's all online. There is, for the boxes where you can write some answers, there is a 650 word limit, which is great. And there's some AI assistance that can help you if you have if you're exceeding that. I use it all the time to help me not maximize, stay within the word limit. Attaching supplemental documentations like pictures, policies, staff memos, employee handbooks are a great thing to upload because they contain all this information on benefits to staff, onboarding. Do you use Google Chrome or Firefox? I think most people use one of those two these days, but Safari, some people might still use Safari, but don't use Safari. It doesn't work with Safari very well. So what you're going to do, you're going to go online to smsqa.com. You're going to click on apply. There should be a rotating banner and you click apply for SQA 2026, or there's a little apply button on the top right corner. It's going to ask you for a password. That password is this, SQA 2026, no spaces, all caps. That will get you to access the application. So you're going to see exactly this. Put in your name, job title, email. All of these, all the information is required. We do not publish or share any of your information publicly. This is just so we can contact you to let you know the results and publicize you. Okay, so answer all those questions there. Okay, and then it will, when you go onto the next screen, it will ask you what area do you want to apply in, and you just click and there'll be a drop down, and the drop down will have environment, economy, social responsibility. You choose the one and it'll give you an option to apply in another area. So you can always, check out all the applications and then see which one is best fit. So what are judges looking for? I think I've made the point pretty clear, but they're really looking for, before I go into what they're looking for, I want you to know that businesses usually ask, you're judged by size of business. So they're not going to compare a small retail shop to, Target. So you're judged by business size. So the judges compare apples to apples. If you're a small retail and small, the categories are here, you're going to be compared to others, to the bandwidth of other small businesses. Medium, large, etc. So you're a small little motel is not going to be expected to perform like a large luxury hotel. Okay, so just know that the judges are aware of that very much.
And is that size for full-time employees or part-time or both?
I'd say full-time equivalents.
Okay, great.
Full-time equivalent, yeah. Okay, so again, they're looking for really, four things, I'd say. It's first of all, telling your business story, not just regurgitating information, just telling your story, how, why is your business sustainable? Why are you green certified? Innovation, things you're doing differently in your business sector. So compared to other businesses similar to you, how are you different sustainability wise? Mention that. Commitment, so showing, years of doing this, or we've been composting organics for over 10 years. So just always mention time anytime you can, how long you've been doing something. Documented results. So if you did a retrofit, copies of the retrofit, of the renovation, of the LED lighting or retrofit or whatever you did, just documented results, right? Any savings you have, policies, etc. And then for businesses that have more than one location, really the judges want to read how your particular company supports the Santa Monica community. So if you have a location in San Francisco, or they don't talk about that too much, talk about how your business supports Santa Monica, why you're in Santa Monica, etc. I'm going to give one example here of a statement when you're answering a question. You could simply say, we stock our staff kitchen with reusable foodware, period. Okay. You could just say that. Or I recommend you say, putting in the commitment since 2019, we've been stocking our staff kitchen with reusables, some examples for 30 employees, because judges may not always remember. That's substantial to stock reusables for that many employees. Vegetarian catered lunch. So the saying less is more. For this application, more is more. So I'd say use as many of those 650 words as you can to give the detail. That's what they're looking for. Some previous winner highlights that I'm going to go through so that you get a sense of what other businesses have done. I'm going to highlight Patagonia. They won a couple of years ago. Swaycloth, a little design firm, and Back on the Beach Cafe. Okay, so Patagonia, we all know Patagonia. They have several locations, but they have a location here in Santa Monica. They've been here for over 30 years, I believe. So they have about 20 full-time equivalent employees, and these are some things directly from their application. So one of the judges, one comments they had were, wow, upon, and of course, you're always including your mission statement. I think there's a particular question about including your mission statement. But through their mission statement, one of the judges said this company's commitment to sustainability, it's fully integrated into their business operations. And when you think of Patagonia, for those of you who know the store, I mean, they exude sustainability. They have a return and repair program. You can purchase a jacket or pants from them, and if it rips, you can take it back and they'll repair it. I believe they still do that. They've been around for 40 years. They're B Corp. I mean, all of those things are above and beyond for economic development. For social responsibility, again, they highlighted the above and beyond things that they do. And if your business doesn't do this, it doesn't mean you're not going to win. But, for a business of their size, Patagonia, several locations, they offer their staff unlimited paid time off. They have well-being and mental fitness resources. They offer financial planning for employees. They have daycare subsidy. That really is above and beyond. Employee tuition reimbursement. They make a point to invest in the future of young people. So their young staff, they really, the young staff that prove to be leaders and wanting to continue with them, they really invest in their younger staff so that they stay with the company. They do quarterly employee evaluations, which is above and beyond. Most businesses may just do once a year. And very generous annual charity donations. Anytime you do donate, even if it's pro bono service or you donate a product, really important, if you haven't been doing it, just track everything you donate, every charity donation, just track it so you have a record of it and you can get an annual amount. They're members of 1% of the planet. I think you can just visit the website and sign on to be that. There are some requirements. Again, they're worn, wear, and repair programs. I just mentioned that. Very innovative and very effective. Very few other retail stores are doing that. I don't know any others. And they made a point to look at their supply chain. And once they realized that 97% of their carbon emissions were coming from their supply chain, they made a point to reduce their footprint there by using recycled materials, et cetera. So again, this company is quite above and beyond, but I just want to show you some examples of being innovative, documenting. Okay. Are we on time? Not too bad. Okay, this is a smaller architectural design firm called Swaycloth. They won in 2022. They have nine full-time equivalent employees, so a smaller business. Their triple bottom line, their mission was centered on the triple bottom line: environment, equity, economy. Very impressive employee benefits, profit sharing, training, team building. Again, mentioning the above and beyond things over medical benefits. They even make a point to hire local employees, which is might not be legal, but they mentioned it in their application. You can mention those things. They like to hire local. They partnered with a local Santa Monica company, Bourget Brothers, for displaying their design products in their showrooms. So that shows, some supporting local economy. And here we go. Words like positive work environment. That's a really good thing for the social responsibility section to address upon. And I think it's one of the questions actually. How does your workplace contribute to a positive work environment? Do you celebrate birthdays? Do you team building cultures? Do you play games? Do you make a point to go for happy hour? Mentioning, I'm sure we all do those things. So this is where they mention them. And then, of course, I mentioned already tracking any monetary in-kind donations, time to community events. There's a question about that. And, you know, letters, if you haven't been tracking it, if you find a letter thanking you from a nonprofit, thanking you for a donation, just even like upload a couple of those letters will show that you're committed and will show the documentation. There are also, if you're a green certified business, mention that in the application. The judges may not know that. So please mention if you're green certified. If you've been green certified for many, many years, you mentioned that in the stewardship of the environment section. There's a question about that, and you want to put that in the notes. And beyond recycling, this firm upcycles their waste materials. So materials that cannot be put in the blue bin, they make a point to make them into something else, or even, you know, I remember they had a lot of leftover samples of materials. They would collect them and give them to one of the local schools to use for arts, that for an art project. That's upcycling, something that's destined for landfill that you can give one more life to. So mentioning those things. Okay. And then at staff meetings, there's a question too. Staff meetings, do you integrate sustainability or environmental conservation or resource conservation into your staff meetings? Do you have a company green team? Of course, I'm mentioning that in the environment section. Okay, that's waste class. No questions, I'll just go on. Back on the Beach Cafe, they're one of our longtime green certified businesses. I'm sure all of you are familiar with them. They're located right on the beach near the Annenberg Beach House. They won the grand prize in 2019, which is really hard for a food service business to do because they have a lot of moving parts. They're about 20 full-time equivalent employees, so about a medium-sized business. Economic development. Shoot, they've been in business since 1989, so that's something. They're very active with the Buy Local Santa Monica campaign and the Santa Monica Chamber. They've been active members for many, many years. So if you are also that, you want to mention that. Attending the meetings, hosting a chamber event, hosting a mixer. If you've hosted any community event, you want to list that in here. Social responsibility. Very, very rare for a food service business to offer any sick or health insurance. Very rare because the profit margin for restaurants are so small. But back on the beach, they actually offer employees sick pay and health insurance at half cost, which is, again, very, very rare for their business sector. So that is very notable for them to do. They do give student employment opportunities during peak summer season, so you're supporting students. And they do a lot of community support. They've hosted events for us. They've donated to us. They're really, really big on supporting charity. They track and they mention they mention all that. In terms of stewardship of the natural and of the environment, sustainability is featured prominently in their business or mission statement. So they mention sustainability. They're right on the beach, you know. So they were one of the first food service businesses in Santa Monica to pretty much completely eliminate all plastics. So if you go to Back on the Beach, you'll get a ceramic portion cup with ketchup in it. You'll get a stainless steel straw. So they really were one of the leaders in showing that a restaurant can, they can operate without having a bunch of plastic to-go disposables. It is possible and it's feasible. Okay, there they go. So that's Back on the Beach. Okay, we're near the end here. So I'm going to go over some applicants, some resources for you to apply for this award. I see that Mitchell Krause is here from Capital Intelligence Associates. Mitchell, he was a Sustainable Quality Award winner. Mitch, 2015, 2014, back in the day.
It's somewhere on one of these walls.
one of these walls, and then if take a look, let me know. And then Mitch reapplied last year,
Yeah, or
and
yeah, last year.
yep, in social responsibility, I think. And you won again. So Mitch, if you want to, if Mitch is here, if you want to say something, Mitch, you can, no pressure. But Mitch is here as a past winner mentor to help anyone along the process or just answer any questions. Mitch, you
Well,
want to
yeah,
say
I'm
something?
just it looks daunting, but you start the work and it's not as hard as it looks. You just need to get going. Like most things in life. It's the procrastination's the worst part.
Yes, I'm guilty of that. And Mitch, I remember Mitch when Mitch applied, you applied prior a few years before you won in 2015. You had applied and you did not win that year, I think in 2014.
We did not win the year before, but let me tell you, the feedback we got made winning in 2015 really easy.
And that's a really good point. Thank you for reminding me. You will receive, I attend the judging session, and my team and I, we take a bunch of notes because we want businesses to know why they didn't win, how they can improve. I make the judges give this feedback. So regardless if you don't win, you will get a scorecard and some really, really good feedback as to, the areas you can improve, what you can do, tangible things that you can do. So I do want to, even the process of applying, you'll gain something out of it if you don't win. And you don't win this year, you can win in another year. This deadline here, if you would like to work with a past winner, and that could just mean you meet with them once and you ask them some questions, or you meet with them once and then you send them a draft of your application like a week before it's due for them to review. It could be as simple as that. It could be one conversation. It could be a coffee. So you're not committing to like hours and hours of mentoring. The deadline to request a mentor, I am making that be as early as possible. So that the deadline to apply, this application deadline is February 25th. So we have lots of time. It's, 21 days from now, so 3 weeks. We have a few mentors. Jim from Back on the Beach is also one of our mentors. Mitch is going to be out of town. I believe he's going to be out of town. He's here next week and then he's gone the following week. So if you would like to take advantage of Mitch, just please let me know as soon as possible. My Monday would be great if you want to just speak or connect with the past winner like Mitch. If not, we have a couple others. And you can review a few past applications online. They're a little old. The website template is a little persnickety these days, and I'm not able to upload newer applications. But if you go to smsqa.com, you click on About Application Process, there's a couple of older applications there that you can review, take a look at. I'm your one-stop shop for anything you need, but there's more people listed under contacts on the website. And just to recap a few things, make sure to have to upload a company or an employee manual or policies. And if you're a small business and you don't have these, that's okay. Maybe look into creating one in the future, but businesses have one without having like a huge, robust manual, but just having like a one pager of something about your company, your employee manual is great. Documentation of any energy or retrofits, any renovation projects you've done, list of charitable donations, pictures say 1,000 words, they really do. So pictures to support what you're saying. If you're talking about going out to celebrate birthdays, a picture of your team out celebrating someone's birthday is great. Any staff meeting agendas or staff reviews, any examples go a long way. Recapping the dates here, I'm going to be sending this out as well with the recording, of course, these slides, but these dates are all on smsqa.com. If you go to timeline or FAQ, they'll be there. So applications are due Wednesday, February 25th by midnight, 11:59, no later, no extensions. And the winners are going to be announced publicly in mid-March. You will be contacted prior to the public announcement to let you know how you did and your score. And then the scorecards and the feedback will come shortly after, as soon as my team assembles everything. And then April 29th is the event. Free tickets for all. Thank you, everybody. And that I spoke less than I normally do. So these are time for questions. I'm here, just shout them out. And thank you all for attending.
Susie, it seems like a nonprofit is going to find it hard to fit a lot of these criteria.
You know, true, but not true. We have had nonprofits win before out of the 178. I can't recall any names to mind, but the one section that's tricky for nonprofits is the social responsibility section because it's about supporting charities. You are a charity. So that is one tricky section. However, I know the Assistance League, I mean,
We support other organizations through our
you're a good
proceeds.
fit for that. You are a good fit. Like you're one of the, you actually would fulfill that criteria. So I actually
Okay.
nonprofits have one. I can't think of the names right now, but there's a winners directory that will mention some, but they can win actually.